Listen, there are 16,000 different variants of COVID. Monkeypox is out there. I saw something about somebody getting polio on the East Coast, baby, and capitalism ain't going anywhere. So you're gonna need to work. You're gonna wanna work from home. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are well. So I don't want to out myself as being uninformed as to what's going on in the world, but I'm going to admit honestly that I don't watch a lot of news or read the news like at all. But I do have an Android phone, a Google phone, and so sometimes when you like accidentally swipe to the left, the news pops up by mistake. And when I have been subjected against my will to the news as of late, I have come to realize that the managers and CEOs of this country really want y'all back to work, like in the office, like full time, like yesterday, like ASAP Rocky. You know, and as a person who is a proud member of the Happy Hermit gang, I personally hope they never get their wish. I hope you never have to go back to an office for a job that you can do from home, that you've proven that you can do from home. I feel like at this point, people have probably already got their home office spaces dialed in, but in case you haven't, or you're looking to upgrade and modernize your space, if you're looking to make it fit more efficiently in your home, hopefully this video will be helpful to you. As always, these tips are going to be specifically geared for people that live in small homes. Let's jump right into it. I'm first going to talk about the most portable two options for a small office space, and that's going to be an office tray. So this is the tray that I used last year when I was consulting full-time from home, and this is a really great option for someone who's going to be like essentially hot desking across their whole apartment, working from the kitchen desk one day, the coffee table one day, from bed the other day. This is going to allow you to corral your laptop, your mouse, you know, maybe a pad of notes, your pencils, binder full of women or whatever you've got going on, everything in one place, and be able to move it around with you when you're working, but most importantly, put it away when you are done with work. I was in a really stressed out time in my life last year, and having to look at anything work related was just like, I couldn't. At the end of the day, especially on the weekend, I wanted to just have it be way out of sight, out of mind. So I was able to put all of my laptop, all of my work stuff, and literally slide it under the couch and not think about work all weekend, which was fantastic. Now, if you want to set up the absolute ultimate in portable small home offices, you want to pair your laptop tray with one of these, which is a laptop stand. This is really great because again, it lets you move around and use different parts of your home as your work location, depending on how you feel, the mood, the need. I liked to use this standing at this dresser here, working on my laptop when I was doing my own work, like working on Excel spreadsheets and yada yada yada. I liked to stand for that sort of thing. But when I had meetings, which God, it felt like 20 hours of meetings in a 40-hour week, I like to either sit in the kitchen or in front of my couch because I liked having the background, like having my art in the background. I have to say, it's a major flex to be the only person in a large Zoom meeting with the camera on and your real background showing, and it did feed my ego an appropriate amount to have people constantly complimenting the art and the overall look of my home. So if you're interested in keeping your house Zoom ready, I do implore you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos from this channel launch. I'm also going to have linked in the description box some information on working with me one-on-one. I do small space style overhauls, plant styling, as well as some art sourcing, and I'd love to help you out with any of that if you need some assistance. So let's move on to actually creating space in your home. If you are lucky enough to have a closet that you could use for an office, I think a pocket closet, or even better if you have a walk-in closet, that would be ideal. And that is literally going to be your best option, especially if you live in a small space and having a room that you're going into that is completely dedicated to an office. Now, depending on your needs, how much storage stuff you're going to need for your work, tax needs, if you want to really have like a space so you can like claim like this is my office and deduct it on your taxes. Using a closet might be really, really beneficial. The only drawback is, especially if you live in a small space, being able to dedicate a closet to being an office typically means you need to have at least 2 closets, because you still need a closet. If that's not an issue for you, if you do have more than 1 closet that's usable closet space in your apartment, or better yet, if you don't have 2 closets but you don't really need one, maybe you can buy a wardrobe or a credenza to put in a corner and then utilize your one and only closet as an office space. I think using your closet is a fantastic idea. Out of all the options I talk about in this video, if you have the space to convert a closet into an office space, that's going to give you the most feeling of privacy, the most ability to stretch out and to build out storage that's really going to work best for your needs depending on what you do for work. The next best option, if you live in a small space and can't dedicate your closet to an office, would be to utilize any empty spaces that you might have. So any nooks that are underneath cabinets, like the one that I'm using for my office behind me, or any areas maybe underneath the stairs, if you have a dead space in front of a bay window, those could be a really great use of space, converting those areas into an office. Depending on the layout of your house, it could be really difficult to figure out what to do with some of these dead spaces, especially if you are significantly limited in terms of the furniture that you can move into some of these spaces. The good thing about an office space, typically you're going to be sitting at a desk. So for instance, my desk is underneath a cabinet in my closet. I used to have a dresser under there. There's not really a lot that I can do with that space. It's very limited. As a matter of fact, the desk that I have there now, it fits in that space literally with less than the width of my pinky to spare between the wall. So there are some considerations if you're going to be building out an office space in like a nook or a dead corner. This is a really good opportunity for those of you who are handy to really build something custom. I've seen some really cool custom office spaces built into like the nook underneath the little triangle in the dead space underneath some stairs. So it's definitely something to consider. Take stock of the space that you have in your home and see what, if anything, might be available for you in terms of that. So now let's talk about some other furniture options for your small home office. The first option I would like to talk about are secretary desks. Now, a secretary desk, when it's closed, looks like a regular armoire, but when you open the desk, it folds down to have a desk that you can either stand or sit at, depending on the height. And it also has generally some storage where you can put your pens, your pencils, some papers. There's usually drawers or some kind of storage in the back of the cabinet. I absolutely love a secretary desk. Again, I really like the idea of being able to hide your work away when you are wanting to be in your home space and not thinking about work. So literally being able to, flip up a door or close a cabinet door and have your office be away is a really, really great benefit, as is the option of having a piece of furniture that's not just a standard boring desk in your home. When I think about a desk in your home that you're using to work, I don't really see you using that space for a lot of other things when you're not working. And if you're going to have a piece of furniture that is, single use and it's going to be an office space, I would love for it to be a little bit more functionally and visually interesting when I'm not using it for work. If you have like mid-century modern sensibilities, I see a lot of really cool vintage secretary desks on the market. So I am confident that you'd be able to find something that fits into your home aesthetically. Okay, along the same vein of secretary desks are leaning desks. These are another really great options for small spaces, especially if the space that you have to fit your office, your desk, is kind of like a narrow space, maybe your walkway, maybe you're going to be putting your desk behind a couch and there's going to be some clearance that's needed for people to walk behind you at any given point in the day. A leaning desk is really great because it has kind of a very narrow profile, and typically they're built to include some kind of drawer storage underneath the desk, and also some shelf storage. So you can either put your office supplies, maybe get some storage boxes, put like your pens and pencils and cute little cups, or you can put some decor that ties your home into the office space to kind of make the space feel cohesive. Even more space saving are wall mounted desks, and I've seen a range of these from really traditional looking, something that looks like a credenza without legs, to kind of the really technical industrial looking, something that looks like it would do well mounted to the wall in a garage instead of maybe your home. But if you are going to be working in different environments, it's nice to know that you have a range of options depending on how you work, where you work, your environment, and all that jazz. I like the wall mounted desks as an option because they're taking up so little space, so little visual space. They're not taking up any floor space. That's also really great because you can use the space directly underneath your floating desk to store other work items. So you can have a rolling cart maybe that has some storage or stores your printer. It can stay underneath the desk when not in use, and then if you need to obviously put the desk down so you can use it, you can either stand or sit at your desk and have your printer and your storage right next to you. And when it's not in use, it's kind of all in one column, so all of your work items stay together. You could also opt for a space-saving corner desk. Now, I've seen some that are really tiny, like triangle shaped, clearly built for a corner and a corner only. I've also seen some that are a little bit longer, wider, more L-shaped desks that obviously also fit well into a corner. I love a corner desk. I really feel like, maybe this is just me, but there's something that's like a natural visual boundary with having a desk that's fit into the corner. If you're at home working at your desk and other people are around, I feel like if you're in the corner working, it's kind of like a very visual, like obvious, leave this person alone kind of situation. I also love, again, the idea of being able to column your desk and build up the wall. So depending on how far up the wall or how far out on the wall you can build, you might be able to put up some shelving and a storage system, maybe even get your printer on the wall. And again, having all of your work stuff kind of arranged in this column, in this corner, very obviously separated from the rest of the space. That allows you to very obviously separate yourself from work when you are enjoying the rest of your space. I just really, really like the idea of that, and I think some of these corner desks, especially the really small ones, are a really great option for people. I personally, I don't have any empty corners in my house because I am a hoarder who's masking it as eclectic maximalism, but I have heard that some people have open corners in their home that they could put things in, and a small corner desk might be something worthwhile for you to put in your corners. So the last couple tips are kind of just general. The first thing I would suggest is if you are able to actually build a workstation that's going to be stationary and you're able to get a desk, I'd always try to go for the desk that has the most built-in storage as possible, be it just a drawer or if it's a larger item that has storage built in underneath or above it. If you live in a small space, you're already familiar with how important storage is, and if you are building a small home office into an already small space, you have to be cognizant that you might not be able to add more storage down the line. There might not be any space for shelving or for storage carts or baskets, buckets, whatever you've got. So you want to make sure that if you're able to add a desk into your space, if that desk is going to be the only thing that's kind of like anchoring your office, that that desk at least provides a cabinet or a drawer or something. I really like the ability to put my laptop in a drawer like over the weekend if I have a desk that I'm working at, so I don't have to see it. I just think it's really important to be able to create those visual boundaries for your work when you're at home, and having somewhere to like put your post-its and your paper so it's not spread all over the place is really important. So when at all possible, go for a desk that has storage, at least a drawer underneath the desk if you can. The next thing you're going to want to do is get a really comfortable ergonomic chair to sit in. Now, you don't have to get like an ugly black office chair that's like standard you can get from like Staple or Office Depot, but you definitely do want to get something that's going to be comfortable for you to be sitting in, especially if you're going to be sitting in that chair for full-time working hours. There are some very cute office chairs to be had on the internet. I got my chair on Amazon. It's blue, it's cool, I love it. It's relatively comfortable, it's the right height and angle, and it works out well for me. When considering your chair, you're going to want to make sure that you get a chair that fits into your space aesthetically, but also that fits into your space physically. If you're in a small space and you're going to have people maneuvering around you, you want to make sure that you get a chair that's easy to move around. And if you are going to be getting in and out of a confined space, say a converted nook or walk-in closet, make sure that it's relatively easy to push your chair back from the desk, to get around the chair and the desk, to get in and out of your office space, because just having issues doing that little task every single day, every time you get up from your desk to go to the bathroom or to start work, it's gonna annoy the hell out of you. So try to be cognizant to not only the size of your desk and your working area in that way, but also the size of your chair and your range of motion in the chair and how that's going to affect the living space around you. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is add some task lighting. I think it's really easy to forego lighting when you're talking about, you know, such a tiny space, but having an extra light above your computer is so important. If you are working in the day and you just need a little bit of extra light, you should be able to provide that light just by your computer without turning on all the lights in your space if you don't want to. And if you find yourself working at night, you're definitely going to want a light next to your computer so that you don't get eye strain. There are tons of adorable lights, super small lights that you can get that can fit on even the tiniest of desks. I've seen lights that are USB powered and battery powered, rechargeable, so if you don't have the option to plug a light in at your desk, that's available to you. And if you have something that's maybe above your desk, I personally use a strip mount light just above my laptop. It's a little push top, battery operated. It works fantastic. It provides great light for me at night, and I can sit in, you know, a relatively dark little nook with my laptop on, no overhead lighting, just the task light, and it works great. The last thing I'm going to recommend is to declutter and to use your space efficiently. So I am going to admit that when I was working in an office, I was definitely a little bit of a slob. I would just leave papers kind of spread all over the place. I knew we were going to lock our office at the end of the night, so I really didn't care. And there was like a method to my madness and my chaos, but because I was able to walk away at the end of the night, I really didn't care. If you are going to be working from home, especially in a small home, there really is no walking away from your office mess. And maybe it's just me, but like looking at work stuff gives me a lot of anxiety. So a lot of my tips and tricks in this video have been particularly geared to having the option to like hide your office stuff at the end of the night so you can't see it. But I really do think that's super important. If you're working from home, especially if you're home full-time, or if you are an entrepreneur, you're like building your own business from your home, you're definitely going to want to stay on top of constantly decluttering, culling out stuff that you don't need so that you're having to store and be efficient with as little stuff as possible. If you are in a small space, these are just the things that you have to be on top of to make your life less miserable. But there are a lot of really great organizational options, a lot of really aesthetic options. You can go for the all acrylic look, you can go for pink binder clips and, you know, little gold containers to hold all your paper clips. It doesn't really matter, but you're gonna wanna keep all of your office supplies organized, all of your paper supplies organized, and your general office space as clean, organized, and decluttered as you possibly can. And that's it, folks. I hope these tips were helpful if you are still at this point in the world trying to figure out your home office needs. Listen, there are 16,000 different variants of COVID. Monkeypox is out there. I saw something about somebody getting polio on the East Coast, baby, and capitalism ain't going anywhere. So you're gonna need to work. You're gonna wanna work from home. So I hope this video was helpful in maybe helping you get a little bit better set up for your at-home workspace, especially if you live in a small home. If you have any additional comments you'd like to share with the community, do leave them down in the description box and let me know what small space office option would work best for you in your home. As always, folks, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it to this point in the video, you're a real MVP. And until next time, stay safe out there, friends. Bye.